Welcome to the Sunday night chat. How you doing? I might be a little extra haggard. I'm still recovering, man. Friday went out drinking with friends. It reminded me of how important friends are. I mean, I've always known that, but even more so, how important it is to get out once in a while and let your hair down, man. I don't go out. I sit home every night of the week. But I used to go out. I used to be pretty social. Some of you might remember. Uh, yeah, I worked in nightclubs, all that stuff. I used to go out quite a bit. But since like 2010, so it's been a solid 15 years, I haven't gone out very much. And anyhow, it was a good time. And I just wanted to say, my name's Mike, if you haven't been here before, so welcome to the Sunday Night Chat. And I'm going to touch on something today about friendship and relationships. And because something happened over the last couple days that is very interesting to me. And then I'll probably talk a little bit about what's going on politically, because it's awesome. We're seeing the rebirth of America, which needed to happen. So if you don't feel that, uh, I wouldn't have anything nice to say about you, because if you're on board with, it's a funny thing, all the graft that's been discovered, which we all knew about. It's always been happening. There's these funny arguments from the other side where they're like, well, how come you didn't care before? No, we all cared. Everybody cared. We used to talk about it all the time. The whole Tea Party movement was about that. But the people running the country, right, and the unelected bureaucrats uh, were all in cahoots. The USAID, the funding of news organizations to spread the same message, which is all just state propaganda. This is all real, right? We know it now. So keep watching, because more of that's going to come out. We'll get into this in a little bit. But more importantly, Sabo came into town, right? You guys remember last week I got his book in the mail. So was it last Sunday or the Sunday before? I can't even remember. I did a video on it. I think it's a pretty good video. And he put me in the book because I helped him out on a few hits and worked with him for 5 years. It's great. So he came into town to go to some art shows, and called me Thursday to see if he wanted to hang, if I could hang with him on Friday. Him and Dave, you guys remember Dave from the Rat's Nest? Excuse me, Dave's the guy. He helps the channel out a lot here. He also has an Astro van. Together, along with Kai, out there in the desert, we came up with these engine lift brackets that he makes to get your Astrovan engine and transmission up after you've done a body lift, blah, blah, blah. Dave's a great guy. So Friday, Dave called me when he was leaving work. I think he gets off at like 3:30. And he's like, hey, you want me to pick you up? Sure. Because I'll tell you, been working on that house all week, over my head, work on these ceilings, and I had painted the ceilings out with an 18-inch roller, and I was beat up, man. I came home and I closed my eyes for a couple minutes. I was like, I got to get in the shower, and I wasn't sure if I was going to make it out, to be honest, because I was just too spent, man. But because Dave picked me up, I did it, and I'm glad I did. So, yeah, we met up at the Snake Pit, which is where I met Sabo. If you know, Snake Pit's on Melrose Ave. The Snake Pit. Snake, like snake, slithering snake. Join or die, snake. Uh, that's a good place to meet if you want to meet somebody for a beer. That's local here, where I'm at. So it was awesome, man. We each had a burger. David welded up another one of those steel traps, the heart-shaped traps, a smaller one that Sabo wants to have produced because it'll be less expensive for people. I still have one coming. It's in pieces at Dave's shop. He wants me to be there when he welds it up, like he expects me to help him. I'm looking forward to getting that, because I'm going to hang that at the house, I suppose, out in Arizona. At any rate, my energy is kind of weird right now. I am really spent. But we had a great time. So we had, I had 2 or 3 Guinness there. And then we walked around Melrose for a while, and that was fun. Took a bunch of pictures. And then we decided to go up to Hollywood Boulevard and go to the Frolic Room, which is a great joint. If you've ever been to the Frolic Room, it's down the street from the Pantages, and it's on the north side of Hollywood Boulevard between Vine and Gower. It's pretty close to me, actually. And I've always said it hasn't been remodeled since it was done, but it has a little bit. Like they've made a few changes since the last time I was in there. I haven't been in there in 15 years, man. So it was interesting. And then I'll talk to you about what went on. But we went and uh, did like a bar crawl. So let me stop the video real quick and then insert some snapshots. And then I'll tell you about how the night went. And then I have a couple short videos I'll insert after that. So they're fun pictures. Some of these pictures are vertical because I meant to put them up on Instagram, but I haven't had the time or the energy just because I am I'm still purging the alcohol out of my system, as you can imagine. Okay. That's a weird off there. So, yeah, man. Melrose was fun because there's a lot of street art there, and Sabo being a street artist. As a matter of fact, there's pictures of us that you just saw where we're standing next to this a yellow sign that's been blacked out, and it was a piece of art that Sabo put up about criminal crossing. So you had this guy running with like a crowbar and some other tool, and people don't like that. I might go up there at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning at some point with a grinder and cut the pins and steal that thing. He's totally cool with it. He's shocked that it's still up. At any rate, then we met up at the Frolic Room, and that was a lot of fun, man. There's a there's a text in there that you saw because we're like, "Where are you, man?" And he's like, "I'm here," and I'm like, "Well, we're here," and he goes, "I'm taking a crap." And he texted that, so I took a screenshot of it so you guys could giggle at that. You just saw it. And so he came out of there, and then we all, had drinks, and we had a few drinks there, 2 or 3, I suppose. I know I had at least a couple, tall glasses of Jack Daniels, and the people were interesting. There was a door guy who you saw a picture of us all together out in front of the joint. Big, giant dude. It's funny with me because people don't seem that big when I'm talking to him. I don't know what that is. He was from Boston. I forget his first name. And he's got the Make America Great hat on, which Sabo thought was pretty, interesting. And so they had a conversation. And he was a real nice guy, heavy Boston accent. And, he's full of himself in a way. Like being a door guy, he really thinks he can handle himself. I'm sure he can. He's got the size, but, there was a guy at the bar, right at the corner of the bar when you first walk in, who was hammered. So much so, when I walked in, he had leaned back and bumped into me, and I caught him. I kind of just pushed him back onto his bar stool and kept walking. He said something to me, but it wasn't that important. But then later, we've got a spot up by the door. It's a weird little secluded spot up front there. And he was causing some problems, and he started arguing with the door guy. And, he's like, "Well, what happens if I get too drunk?" And the door guy's like, "Well, I'm just going to throw your ass out of here." And that's basically what ended up happening. But before that happened, I started talking to him. I was like, "Dude, you know, if you need any help, I had your job a long time ago. He's like, oh, I got it. I'm from Boston. I got it, dude, I'm from Jersey. He looks at me and goes, ah. And that's the funny thing. And that was a conversation that we had sitting there because I told the fellas, I was like, dude, if he's from, this is the last guy you want to screw around with. People from Boston, uh, they're not taking any crap from anybody. And part of the reason for it is that is where, the war for independence for this country popped off, man. And those people still have that attitude. And that's kind of like the Jersey thing, too. It's, I think that that's part of why the East Coast people, in particular Northeast, from the original 13 colonies, have that. It is still in us. It's part of the spirit of growing up there. I think that they've been whitewashing it a little bit and watering it down, with what's been going on for the last 12 years. But it's still there, and especially, people my age. So that was fun. That was a really good time, and I was really in a good mood, man. I was shared way too much. I told the fellas a couple stories that I can't even tell here. I mean, I could tell them, but they'd be funny. I'll tell them one day when it's just a comedy thing, because they're crude and rude and and not flattering at all. But they're good. They're very entertaining. I forgot to look at the watch again. I made a watch video last night. It was like 2 hours long, and I just made another one where I made this band, and it's only like 38 minutes. So, at any rate, we walked out of there, and I was in such a good mood, and the guys saw it. They're like, dude, what's going on? And they're like, oh, Mike wants to fight somebody. I was like, well, I'm in that mood. I'm in a really good mood. I either want to, I'll say it politely. I either want to have sex or beat the crap out of somebody. That is the kind of mood that I'm that's the mood I used to get in when I used to go out drinking, which I haven't done in so long. Matter of fact, I haven't had any alcohol in quite some time, since New Year's, really, I think. I might have had one drink or two between then and now, just here, but I'm not even sure if I've done that. But this is the first time I've gone out drinking in quite some time, so I was like, yeah. And it was just so much fun. We walked all the way down the Highland. Had a few instances with some people on the street, no big deal, just talking and whatnot. And then we went to the Powerhouse, which is still there. I haven't been to the Powerhouse in 20 years. 2005, I was probably in the Powerhouse. Maybe 2004. And yeah, probably 2004. And then we walked back, and on Cherokee, we went to Bordner's. I haven't been there in that long. That was awesome. We met a couple interesting people there. Matter of fact, I met a guy. He gave me his card. I'll have to reach out to him. He's an engineer from Georgia. He's here working on a rail, like a light rail system in the valley. And he has multiple degrees. He's a real smart dude. And he comes here a lot. So if I can get in touch with him, there's a chance I might want to do a bullshit session with him here on the channel to talk about the politics of trying to get things done because of what we're seeing right now with Doge and everything else. Because he said quite a few interesting things. So to talk to somebody who's in the mix with a program, like a state-run program, to get, the inside baseball on this stuff and the waste of money and the waste of time. And like he was explaining this one thing, like he said, there might be this one lubricant. It's infinitesimal, but because it can come out, they've got to design and build this whole system to catch it. But it's almost immeasurable. But they're making them do it it's just really crazy what they have to go through. So that'll be. And then I met this woman, black lady, who was really interesting. Nice lady. I really got along with her. She's very heady. One of those people, she really thinks she's super smart, and she probably is. I did look at some of her stuff, and she's it's all about the black thing and black history and that sort of thing. There's nothing wrong with that. It's odd for me when anybody makes a choice to make their culture thing, their heritage, whatever, race, whatever, their whole life's work. I hope that that's worth it to them. I just think it's a little bit, there's so much more to life that you could be doing and enjoying yourself, so we'll see. But she's also like this, she does acupuncture and cupping and things like that. So I wouldn't mind hanging out. She might even see this. How you doing? She was a lot of fun, but I was hammered. So I was in a little bit of a different state of mind there. I put my sticker up in the bathroom there. When I met up with Dave, his brother, I don't have a lot of these, but his brother printed me up some Mike Z Design stickers. They are die cut. And then Dave gave me a couple of his Rat's Nest stickers. So that's cool. Maybe I'll get his brother and I can pay him or do a trade or something to print me up a bunch more of these. And then I can get some of those out to some of you guys, because I do get asked from time to time. So if I can get ahead with money one day, I'll invest in some swag. But if there's anybody out there that has their own t-shirt company or anything and wants to hook me up, let me know. I am down for it. At any rate, we had a good time at Bordner's, and then we walked back to where Sabo was staying. Because of who he is, he knows all kinds of interesting people, and a lot of them are pretty wealthy. And so somebody let them borrow a penthouse in a building on the corner of Hollywood and Vine. There's these two towers there. So we went up there and had another beer. I think I had at least 2, maybe 3 big glasses of Jack Daniels and probably 6 or 8 beers throughout the night. It was like, woo! And then we went up on the roof of the building and, ended the night there. And that was, I shot a few videos there. So let me show you that. So that is the Capitol Records building. We are at Hollywood and Vine. The Palace that I used to work at is right there. We're with Dave of the Rat's Nest. Say hi, Dave.
Howdy.
And we're at Sabo, the infamous, most censored street artist in America. Say hi, Sabo.
Hello, how are you?
And you guys may have already seen it. If you haven't, you will see a bunch of snapshots that I took this evening. We've been bar hopping. Of course, I live right down the street. Where did we go? We went to the Frolic Room. We met it. Yes, we all hooked up at, what do you call it?
Melrose.
The Snake Pit.
Snake Pit.
Then we came up here, we went to the Frolic Room. You guys will see a picture of the guy, the door guy there. Then we went to Powerhouse on Highland. Then we went to Bordner's.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
What's the name of the building?
I have no idea. It's a famous old building. I just don't remember.
Very cool.
Wow.
That is the Griffith Observatory that you can see from here as well. If I'm slurring my speech, it's because I've been drinking for 6 hours. Sabo?
I go that because every time
Hey,
I won't.
don't you think we should climb this?
I absolutely don't.
Wouldn't that be like old times?
Yeah.
Now we're on the roof of the building.
And I also think I was a guitar player too. A guitar player.
I like the American flags on the top of the buildings. Clearly, zero wind. So that was fun. They were telling me, hey, how come you aren't filming this? I'm like, I'm the worst YouTuber. That's why. Because if I had thought to bring my mic and my little tripod and all that, I could have filmed the whole thing. But and I should. And the channel would be better and more interesting for you guys if I looked at everything I do. It might seem like I do, but I don't. But everything, whenever I'm out, if I looked at it as an opportunity for a video, and that probably would have been fun. Like when we were on Melrose, we went into this like street art hip hop joint, which was weird. I made this comment pretty loud when I went in there too, because they had some rap on where I heard the N word, which I want to do a bit on that where I actually say the word and I say it 20 times in the context of just talking about it as a word. Because there's a difference between talking about the word as the word and using the word where you're aiming at somebody as an insult to be mean spirited and that sort of thing. But the point I wanted to make is, and this is nothing new, I heard that word like 20 to 50 times within a few minutes. That's not an exaggeration. And I'm like, hey, you know what's weird? We're not supposed to say this word, but I'm nonstop listening to it right now. What the hell's going on? Like, I didn't want to be in the joint because of it. And all the crazy clothes and ridiculous nonsense. It was, we just went in there as a goof. And Dave ended up goofing on the chick running the joint. He's like, hey, what would it take to sell a book in here? Like trying to get Sabo's book in there? Could you imagine? We had a little laugh about that. But we had a good time. We had a good time up on the roof. And it was great talking and getting stuff off of our chests. And just guys hanging, man. Bros hanging. It was wonderful. And then, you know, yesterday I was basically recovering all day. And of course I did the long video like I mentioned on the watch bands and everything. But then last night I texted a pal of mine. So I got this friend. I'm not going to say his name or give too much away. Well, because he's going through something right now that's very serious. It's a health thing where he might lose some body parts out of it. He's got to go in for an emergency surgery this week. And he's been in a lot of pain, and I haven't talked to him in months. We had this weirdness, a little bit of a weirdness. Everything was fine. I knew it was going to blow over and be fine anyhow because I love the guy. We're friends. But there was something that happened between us where it was an inconsistency in character with him. And when that happens to me, I get weary of people. I pull back a little bit to let things settle so I could read the situation a little bit better. So I wasn't talking to him. And but he called me. And man, he's crying on the phone, man. And throughout the conversation, he broke down many times. And I just, you know, so obviously, as soon as he's crying, he told me what was going on. And everything that I had in my brain that I was consternated over, I suppose. I wasn't mad. I wasn't angry. I was, what's the word? I'm too tired. Depressed keeps coming to my mind, but it's not depressed. I was let down. That's not the word either. That's two words. There's a word for it, and my brain ain't working right now. So, but that's all it was for me. But once I listened to what he was going through, I didn't care anymore about what was going on in my brain. That went out the window. He's my friend, so we spoke for a couple hours on the phone. And a lot of it was me trying to just cheer him up and be like, dude, you know, let's say you end up with a peg leg, bro. You will be, I know you. It'll be the coolest friggin' peg leg out there. You will totally pull off the pirate thing. Like, I was just like, and then, you know, just reminding him of how much of a badass that he really is and the things that he's been able to accomplish and everything else. But he got himself into a position where he had been alienating everybody and ended up kind of alone and not talking to too many people. And I was just one of the people he was talking to regularly for like the last couple of years. And then when I was gone and all of a sudden he went into this thing, he got real depressed. And now I feel guilty about it, of course. It's a weird thing because I'm alone all the time and I don't get like that. And I've been depressed. Plenty. And I've been here in a lot of pain after surgeries, motorcycle wrecks, all kinds of things. You know, I got to think. 4 ankle surgeries, of course, the wrist surgery, and multiple other injuries that required physical therapy and that sort of thing. I've mentioned this before. I've lost 9 years not being able to work. 9 years. To injuries that required surgeries and rehab and that sort of thing. There's been periods of times where I couldn't walk. There's been periods of times where I had to walk with a cane. I was riding motorcycles and I had a collapsible cane that I bring with me so I could walk. So I've been there, you know. But I don't ever get to that place. I mean, I did a couple. Well, that's a whole other reason, though. I did that on purpose. But my point, though, is that I don't oftentimes think about everybody else's feelings in that way because we all see things from our own perspectives, and I'm not that guy. So it's a little bit jarring and rattling to me when somebody I care about, who's a man, is breaking down like that. So it was just a heartfelt thing from my perspective dealing with him last night. So I think I'm gonna go over tomorrow, hopefully, and see him, and I got some real cool shit for him too that I've been holding on to. So at any rate, prayers for my buddy. Once it's all said and done, and I talk to him, I'll probably give you guys an update on it. I hope he's gonna be okay. So that's about it. With that, it was just, going out with the fellas reminded me of how much fun it is and how much I need that more. And then talking to a friend who was super depressed because he hasn't been able to talk to anybody and he really misses me. He's like, dude, I love you, man. You're my best friend. And that's how I feel about him. And it's just a reminder from the universe that I really do need to reach out more with the people who are close to me and try to make it out to see them and do things. Most of them aren't here, though. Most of them are all over the country and the world, really. So it makes it a little bit harder. I am looking forward to, I'm going to have a vacation this week. I've got a friend coming in from out of town. She's coming down from Montreal. She'll get here late Wednesday night. And then we'll probably be here a day or so. I don't know. We haven't figured out the schedule yet. But then we're going to drive out to Arizona. So we'll be at the house. And we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll move some of my sister's stuff out while we're there. I suspect she might have gotten some of it out. But I might do that whole storage unit thing. I'm not rolling in the dough right now. Excuse me. I do not have a lot of money. And this is going to cost money. And I got to pay my taxes on the house while I'm there. It's like $500. So that's, And then, so I'm a little nervous about that sort of thing. But I need to get out of town. And I need that mental break. So while I'm there with my friend Corinne, her name's Corinne. You guys will see her. She'll be in some videos. I'll purposefully put her in some fun ways. You guys will get a kick out of it. And but I'm definitely going to take her up to Bisbee and introduce her to some of the people that I was hanging out with around New Year's when I was there. You guys remember those videos. It was awesome. Met a bunch of great people. I'll hang out with my buddy Andrew, the guy I made the table for. I think he wants to do some elk steaks, like a dinner or something at his place. So that's going to be fun. It'll be interesting for my sister to meet somebody. I don't think my sister's ever met anybody that I've ever, like a woman I'm even friends with. Well, she met my friend Kurgi at one point. But Kurgi and I are just pals. And, Corinne and I kind of, there's a thing there from time to time. It's complicated. But we're cool. We're more friends than anything else. Two human beings that truly love one another. But there's things, I'm picky. I just like a different type, that's all it is. But it'll be fun. That'll be fun. And, we'll definitely be having a good time there. And maybe even work on the house or something. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. But I'm definitely going to show you guys Tombstone. I'm certain that we'll go up on top of the mountain and 4x4 and all that. I know that we'll go to Bisbee and have a good time there. I'd like to, if it's possible, shoot a video with my buddy Kevin and Gretchen Bonaducci, and they own that restaurant there. Something Cafe. I can't think of the name of it right now, but you guys will see it then. And I'd like to do a video with Mike from East Coast Construction, who owns the old VFW building in Bisbee. It'd be nice to see him and do that video and talk to him about some stuff. So I could, there's a possibility I can get a lot of videos done while I'm there, and that'll be fun. So I'm looking forward to that. And then when I come back, I got to finish up this house. There was 2 walls that I have to paint that I got to match that color, and the numbers on the color are, old. So that those numbers don't match anymore. And you can do the paint chip thing, but I got to go to a Dunn Edwards, and I got to go to a Benjamin Moore joint, I think, and show them these old numbers so they could look it up. And I'll get that done and a few other things, and everything will be fine. So, having said all that, I was watching Bill Maher, Michael Franchese. I don't watch all that guy's videos. I like him. He's a mobster. it's hard for me to watch because I know his story. Just reminds me of all the stuff that I was doing when I was working in nightclubs there, and the whole John Gotti thing. That and they talked about it because Gotti went down because him and his guys were in the drug trade, which really he said that it just ding 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 in my brain because I was working at this place Club XS with this guy cousin Marky, and that's what was going on. That's what they were doing there. They were selling some hardcore drugs out of that joint. So there was a lot of bad stuff that was going on. So I don't like watching that stuff too much. It was funny. They went in this whole thing about mob movies, and Mar did this whole impression of Marlon Brando, and he loves The Godfather. But that's a funny thing, right? The people who are, and no offense if you're one of these people, but lefties in particular are funny to me. Like if they're really, he's a beta male, right? He thinks he's an alpha, but he's not. He's a narcissistic beta male, which is funny. At one point in the show, he was goofing on somebody. It might have been Trump because he does that all the time, but for being a narcissist. And I'm like, dude, pot calling the kettle black much? Dude, takes one to know one? What the hell? Like that guy, he has no grounds to be calling anybody else on being a narcissist because he's the friggin' poster boy for narcissism. It's crazy. Like it's the thing about these people. They don't even see their own hypocrisy. It's bizarre. But, he was going off on the Trump thing and only trying to help rich people and everything else. And Francese, he's being diplomatic, man. He's being diplomatic as hell. Because I know what he was thinking. I know exactly what he was thinking. That guy spent a lot of time in the joint. I mean, he's done some hardcore stuff and seen a lot. And I know what he's thinking in his mind. He's looking like, yeah, I might be 74 years old, but I'll get up and smack the shit out of you right now, and there's not a damn thing you could do to stop me. That's exactly what was going on in his brain. And the whole time he's like, but, I believe in Christ now, and I'm a nice guy, and I'm going to be very diplomatic, but I would bet $1 million that I don't have that those were the thoughts going on in his mind. You know how I know? Because that's what I was thinking. Bill Maher and people of his ilk are one of the reasons why I didn't go out as much later out here. And it's not the main reason why I stopped going out 15 years ago. That was the bad motorcycle wreck, breaking my wrists, everything else, and having to change my lifestyle. Partying too much. And but a part of it too was like there were some of those people, you'd see them out once in a while, and if I've got a little bit of a buzz going in the wrong situation, I know I don't have a problem. I'm not intimidated by anybody. So I'll talk to anybody and I'll say what I think, and then that could go sideways. And that snarkiness that Maher has, now he might be like that more on his show because he feels safe. He's probably not really like that with strangers in public because he knows somebody will knock the shit out of him. But his bravado, the way he just seems so tough, it's like he's got this friggin' chip on his shoulder. I would have knocked the hell out of it. He's just so annoying to me. And he went off on this thing. I just feel like I have to talk to it because what was it? Oh, the whole narcissist. I did write a couple notes down. Oh, and I imagine, because this is what he does. Because everybody, Bill's the kind of guy he'd be like, well, what has he done for you? To a guy like me, right? Doesn't have any money. Because he's so dumb. He doesn't, and he's so dumb he doesn't know he's dumb. That's the funny thing. Because he's like, he's only helping the rich. You don't understand that what they're doing right now is going to help everybody. And a rising tide lifts all ships. I mean, this is a real thing. But they want to talk around that, and it's crazy. But I'll tell you what he's done for me. He's made me happy. Trump has made me happy. You know why he's made me happy? Because, for main thing, just the revelations that have been coming out about all the corruption and graft and everything else, right? And the billions of dollars and trillions of dollars really wasted on the stuff that they're telling you about. And, the IRS stuff and or the Social Security. Right now, we're not sure if these people, millions of them, that are well over 100 years old, that are on the rolls, they're trying to find out whether or not they're actually getting money. So that's still in the works. We're still waiting to hear about that. But just the fact that there's somebody on the rolls that's like 360 years old is crazy. and people 150 years old or older. Millions of them. So that's got to go away, you know? But the amount of money that we're going to save just by not spending money on frivolous bullshit, which I said it before in a recent video, if you don't know, most of the monies that go out for all these programs, less than 10% actually goes to fund the program. And the rest of it just gets sponged up by all the graft, all the people setting up the deals, the bureaucrats, their relatives. People in the media. There's payoffs. There's all kinds of stuff going on. It's all going to come out, man. And it is coming out right now. And then the people that he's putting in, it's amazing. The best thing that happened was the steal, the 2020 steal. The fact, and I don't care what you think. If you don't agree, it's fine. There's no way that Biden legitimately won the 2020 election. I just don't believe it. There was too much crap going on. I was watching it, all of it. All the stuff that was going on with the voting places and everything else, 100%, mail-in, the whole pandemic stuff with the mail-in ballots and everything else, that was a total setup to get Trump out of office. But here's the beauty of it. I'm glad it happened. I mean, these last 4 years have been horrible. They've been hard on everybody. People died. The division that was caused with families, people don't talk to one another, people lost friends, everything else, all because of the lies that the media supported that was coming out of the Democrats, that was all paid for by USAID. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. And now, here's where we're at. But the point I wanted to make is, because of that, we had the last 4 years, and I said this when it first happened. I was like, well, things are going to go to shit, and now we're going to learn. And that's what happened. And we know Biden was never in his right mind. He was not running the country. There was some shadow government system going on. Other people were working it. There's the latest thing is some judge came out and said that the preemptive pardons on, 4 people specifically, won't hold up to like a constitutional challenge or something like that. I'm going to get the wording wrong because I'm not a friggin' lawyer, but none of that shit's working right. And it's just that, I mean, the inflation, the cost of everything, the weakness, the withdrawal from Afghanistan, the war in Ukraine, the millions of people flooding into the country, all the murders, rapes, everything else have happened at the hands of people that are here illegally. All of it, it's a horrible thing that happened, but now you saw what it was like to have Biden as president. Now, the positive thing was when Trump was in the first time, he didn't know what he was getting himself into completely. He didn't know the people. He didn't know that system. I mean, he knows a lot about a lot of the people. He knows a lot of the people, what their skeletons in their closets are. He's been greasing Democrats for decades on the East Coast to get things done, right? And greasing politicians and business people all over the world to get projects done and everything else. That's how it's done. So he knows a lot of the players, but getting into Washington and being the chief executive, which, by the way, is a thing. When a president's elected, it's his job to hire his own cabinet and get his own people in there and dictate how the country is going to run. And anybody that fights that, they're in the wrong, because that's the president's job. So everything he's doing is constitutional. That's the amazing thing. Even the executive orders. So it's really, really interesting. But my point is, the first time he was in there, he had to trust people that turned out to be not good. And he had to learn the whole system. And in 2 years, he got more shit done that was so amazing. And then the second half was dealing with the pandemic stuff. And the whole time being attacked and taken to court on frivolous charges. Most of it's all been thrown out. He won it all. People have to pay him. They've been paying him millions of dollars. News organizations he's sued because they lied and they've been paying him millions. If you don't know this, you should look it up. So I'm always amazed that people are still giving people like me crap for being cool with Trump when we know what's going on. How could you have the position that you have? The only way you could think the way you do is if you don't know what's going on. So, but he came into it this time, hit the ground running, Boom, boom, boom. He knows exactly what to do now. And what he's doing is he's setting up the system, and he's putting the right people in the right positions that he can trust. I mean, and people who were Democrats. Elon was a Democrat. Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat. Like RFK was a Democrat. So these people aren't Democrats or Republicans. Every one of them, including Trump, cares. They actually just care about the country. They care about the American people. They want to get the government back on track. They want to get rid of all these bureaucrats. They want to stop wasting money. They want the taxpayer money to go to the things that make sense. It's good for Americans, period. Period. And that's what they're going to do. And that's what we need to happen. If this didn't happen, we were screwed, man. We were going to be screwed. This whole country and the world would have been screwed. Trump is going to save the world, not just America. That's what I believe. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the thing is so many of you say things here in my comments and whatnot, and you think you're right, and then you're wrong, and you're automatically wrong. Sometimes you're wrong within a day. But, you know, somebody was telling me, the stock market's going to crash and all this. Well, everything's going fine with that, man. You know, so cool your jets. Stop repeating what you're seeing by these organizations that have been funded by USAID. and there's scripted information that no matter what channel you click on, MSNBC, CNN, PBS, whatever, you know, it's the same exact message with the same exact terminology. You think that makes it real. You never stop to think, oh shit, maybe we're just being lied to. That's the reality. It's amazing. There's too many things flying into my brain as per usual to like, I'm like, oh, I should have said that. I just jumped that. I got to get back to that. And then I forget because I keep talking. Because I could rattle off all these examples. I almost wish my channel was all about that because it's so much fun to watch. Like, so for the last few weeks, every night I've been staying up till midnight or even later sometimes because I'll get on. There's Forbes. There's a Forbes channel on YouTube. And what they do is they play the whole thing uncut. So and I can't remember her name because I'm still getting used to everybody's name, but the new press secretary, who's awesome. So when she does her thing, it's an hour, whatever it is, boom, they play it on the Forbes channel. The whole thing start to finish, no cuts, everything. If Trump's signing executive orders and taking questions from the press, boom. He's on Air Force One taking questions, boom. It's the whole thing, start to finish, no cuts, no edits, no nothing. So if you're watching media, if you're watching that, you're only getting sound bites. And then you're listening to a bunch of talking heads tell you what to think about that. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like in the age of information, ignorance is a choice. You're choosing to be ignorant. You're choosing, like you want to be lied to. You can watch it on other channels where there's nothing. There's no talking head. You go to the Forbes channel, you hit play, and it's just playing live. It could be recorded earlier, but from the live event, start to finish, boom. Nobody's telling you what to think. Nobody else is interjecting anything. You get to watch it, listen to it, and form your own opinions. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. So you don't need the media is going away, man. Like most of it's going to end up going away anyhow, just because it won't be funded anymore. PBS, all that. I listened to a thing finally because I never understood. Now I do. I listened to Kennedy, the senator from Kentucky, I think. He's awesome. So he did a whole thing on the floor where he discussed the government funds, federal dollars going to these two organizations that are supposed, right, one's for radio, one's for TV, National Public Broadcasting or whatever it is. And the money goes in and they're supposed to give the money to local TV stations or local radio stations. And it goes to all the different states and counties, that sort of thing. And the thing is that they only give the money to these left-wing sources. And then if you were to listen to all of them, they're all putting out the same messaging. And it's a lot of money. They're literally taking tax dollars and giving it to people who are brainwashing us with bullshit. So we're paying to be brainwashed. It's even, because I used to always say, you are participating in your own brainwashing by listening to this stuff. It's even worse. Not only are you just participating in it gleefully, you are also paying for it. So that shit's got to stop. It's got to stop, man. Crazy. So it's going to be a better world, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. So I've been watching this stuff nonstop, and it is amazing. I watch a bunch of stuff from CPAC, and I'm not that guy usually. I don't really care to watch CPAC, but it's just been so entertaining lately. And I watched a nice sit down with JD Vance today. There's is it Laura Trump? I think she's got a show on Fox. Again, I don't watch Fox News really. I watch Gutfeld show every night. Other than that, I'm watching stuff on YouTube. So I watch CNN. I watch all these other things. That's how I know. And but like the Fox News stuff will pop up too, and I don't care about those shows. But if a person is on that I admire or like, I'll go. Let me watch it. So there was an interview with Tulsi Gabbard, and kind of tells her story of what she went through, and it was awesome. It was awesome, and I would recommend you watching this woman. Actually, this I think it's Laura Trump. I can't remember everybody's name. I'm not that invested in it, but it's just two people having a conversation. That's what needs to happen more, and it's more and more. It's becoming more and more long form because, and I've said this for years, because it's always bothered me when they have somebody on a show and they don't really get to talk that much, versus like a Rogan or something, and so where you talk for 3 hours up to, So now I'm noticing on a lot of these channels, they might only have a 15 or 20-minute thing that they're going to do for YouTube, but they're letting the person talk, and they cover all these different things. Can you imagine if Cackling Kamala was in there? None of this stuff would be happening. Things would be so much worse right now. More billions of dollars would be going to Ukraine. And this whole thing with Ukraine and Russia, like he's siding with Putin. No, he's not siding with Putin. He's siding with peace. He is siding with stop the killing. Let's end this. If you look, I know a guy. I do have connections, and I know a lot of badass dudes. Most of them are retired out now, and they did a lot of private work. And when Ukraine popped off, I thought, oh, this is my chance. Maybe I'll go over there. I was very serious about it. And so I started talking to some people about it, and he was one of the main guys who got back there. He was like, Mike, this is not the one. Don't do it. It's not what they're saying it is. And he kind of started to explain to me about the money system, and that it's kind of a setup, and it's not a righteous cause. Now, I probably just upset a bunch of people by saying that because you're believing what you've been seeing in the media, and I did too. But now we know, and I mean they destroyed it. It was a beautiful place, and millions of people are dead. And where's all the money? Even Zelensky says he doesn't know where over half of it is, and he still wants more. And he was just some comedian, figurehead guy. That guy, I mean, they're probably gonna end up taking that guy out. When I say they, I don't think us, but I'm just saying. I think that guy is way more dangerous because he wants it to continue. And then there's people in different countries over there in Europe that want this to continue for some reason. Everybody should want peace. And Europe needs to be stronger, and they need to be stronger militarily as well. And they got to get off our tit. You know what I'm saying? So, and all that stuff's going to start changing. The World War III stuff, I don't really believe in it. I think if Kamala would have gotten in, it could happen. But I think Trump's already proved that he's a man of peace. He had no new wars when he was president the first time, and squashed other stuff, and made peace with China, made peace with North Korea and everybody else because he knows how to talk to them. And these criticisms that you get from stupid people, oh, you're just talking to Putin. Well, how are you supposed to negotiate if you don't talk to the guy? It's the dumbest thing. It's the dumbest way of thinking. What, you're just going to go over there and start a war because you didn't talk to the guy? How many things can be... It's no different than the streets. No different than your neighbors and everything else. It's the exact same thing. Somebody's being a jerk. You've got a choice. You can go over there, scream at him, punch him in the mouth, go to jail, a bunch of other people get in a fight, the house burns down, boom. Or you go over and go, hey, I've got this issue. Can we work this out? How about you just close your window at 10 o'clock at night so I don't have to hear everything? Would that be too much of a problem? If it's that bad, I'll buy you an air conditioner. Whatever the hell it is, you could figure this out so it doesn't have to escalate to violence. As long as your brain works. There's people out there that want everything to go to crap. Don't ask me why. But, you know, if you just read Saul Alinsky, Rules for Radicals. If you just look up the Cloward Piven strategy, just look into this stuff, read up on Lenin, not John, Vladimir, because you'll discover a lot of you are useful idiots. If you look this stuff up, you'll understand. The Road to Serfdom, give that one a shot sometime. I mean, I'm just saying, man. Anyhow, that's it. It probably hasn't even been an hour. I'm done talking. I'm kind of tired, but I wanted to say hi again and call your friends. You know, send them a note, give them a phone call, leave them a voicemail, tell somebody you love them. It's important. Let people know that you're thinking of them. I'm reminded of that more often than you realize because, I mean, even this week I got a package from, you know what? Don't go anywhere. I haven't washed them yet. They're right here. Ah. Ah. The hell? There we go. Sorry. Dead air. That's like being on the radio with dead air. That is the worst thing. That is the worst thing to do. I apologize. They were in the hamper. Robin and Patrick sent me his t-shirts. So this is, I mentioned them, but I didn't show them to you. So they are a little snug. They're large. I looked. So wait, okay. This is good that I brought this up. I ordered a t-shirt the other day, and it's the same thing with these t-shirts. This is a new thing. I'm not a big fan of these t-shirts that have the side seams because they rub up against your body here on the side. I don't like it. But they form fit you. So if I put this on, it's pretty much skin tight. And then I looked at the sizes for them on this t-shirt I got coming. And the larges are only a 44. Now, with a normal t-shirt, the old style, maybe that was the case, but they just seem to stretch out a little bit more. So they fit you a little bit better. But these things are like, you know, it's like a Spider-Man outfit. They're just so stretchy and everything. So I looked it up, and the extra large is probably going to fit a little bit better. But JJ Rockers, where I used to work, I had the one in Seaside Heights. This one was Scotch Plains, which is pretty cool. There's quite a few of them around. And then this was the Melody Bar t-shirt. They smell a little funny. That's why I want to wash them first. But anyhow, thank you, Robin. Thank you, Patrick. Very, very cool of them. And I bring it up because from time to time, people send me something. And I understand what's going on. It's your way of saying, we like you, you know, and we want to make you happy. And we want you to know how much we value your channel and your messaging and everything else. You make us laugh and all that good stuff. So thank you. And I want you to know that the comments are good and everything else. But those times when I come home and there's some unexpected gift at the unexpected time, some package sitting at the front door, and I open it up, it's amazing. And from time to time, sometimes somebody sends me something in PayPal or Venmo or something now, out of the blue. It's wonderful. That is just awesome. And I can't thank you people enough when you do that. I can understand why YouTube channels do the Patreon thing and all that. Because it would be nice if that was coming in all the time. You can kind of count on it. And I don't feel comfortable with that personally. So, but it's very nice of you, those of you who do send things. I just want you to know I do appreciate it. It's always a big help. And it's not even the money part of it, but just when somebody says something, sends something, it's this, you know, upwelling of gratitude that I feel, and happiness, and all the other good things that, you know, I'm not used to talking about. Because I'm alone. Anyhow, thank you guys. Thank you. Thanks for being here. I got the best subscribers on YouTube. You guys are awesome. I will catch you in the next one. Be good to one another. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll see you throughout the week. And this upcoming week and into next weekend should be fun. Some adventure stuff with the van and traveling around, and we'll have a bunch of laughs. I'm going to rest up between now and Wednesday the best that I can. So I've got the energy. I'll see you later.